Hi, Ben here again. So, something I'm really interested in that I'd like to talk about today is approaching people who aren't vegan. And the way I'm going to talk about this today is I'm going to talk about a particular situation where I'm talking to somebody who isn't vegan, who's also very interested in social issues, and I'm going to talk about how I would respond to a comment like hers. So before I actually discuss the situation, something I want to talk about is a basic guideline for approaching people who aren't yet vegan. Um, and that guideline is, I think it's really important that we're not telling people to go to a vegan diet. And that's because I think people really have to decide for themselves to go plant-based. I don't think we can push it on them. So I think instead of giving them a command like eat a vegan diet, we should be asking them questions like, why aren't you eating a vegan diet? And I think that's going to be a really important part in spreading the vegan message. So what's this situation? So I'm talking about veganism with one of my housemates, and she's telling me about her special family chicken soup, and how if she went to a vegan diet, something would be lost in terms of culture. Um, so here are my responses. The first response is that the memory is not lost. The memory of your grandmother teaching you how to make chicken soup is what it is. It's a memory, and it's not going to go away if you stop making it. It doesn't go away if you don't make it this month or next year. It doesn't depend upon you continuing to do it. Okay, the second point is that we don't need to continue to create a culture based around dead animals. We can create a new culture based around health. We can create memories over amazing fresh food. Just imagine, sitting at a counter with your family, eating the most delicious ripe figs that you've been waiting for months, and you're so happy that September rolled around and you and your family are eating those amazing figs. And that's the kind of community that I want to live in, and it's the kind of one I imagine and idealize. Um, and I feel like we can all do that. We can create a new culture based around healthy food and based around the best science we have in nutrition. I don't see why we can't do that. Okay, the next point. It's never the same soup. When you create a new chicken soup, it's not the one you made with your grandmother. And every time you make that soup, it's a different chicken, a different dead chicken that's going into that soup. But it's not only the chicken's life that is lost to make that new soup, it's oftentimes its livelihood as well. Because these animals, they're tortured to death, and they're milked, or they lay as many eggs as they can um, until they're so tired they just collapse often. You often see dairy cows that they've been raped and tortured and given birth so many times and milked for so long that they can't even walk off to slaughter when it's time for that. So it's not only the life that you're taking, a new life, but it's a livelihood of an animal that you're taking away. And even if you're not taking it away directly, I would argue that by buying into it, you are saying that this is okay. I know oftentimes people don't think it's okay, but they keep on doing it. But for me, that's a big problem. That's a big instance of cognitive dissonance. And if you are thinking like that, I think you have a dilemma in your mind that you really have to think through and solve out for yourself. The last point I have is that I'm not telling you to stop eating chicken soup. I think it's totally, a lot of vegans are going to disagree with this, but I think it's okay if you want to make that soup once a month because it has special memories for you, and you have some emotional response to making it, and it reminds you of family. I think that that's okay, but let's be honest here. You're eating a lot more than chicken soup once a month or once a week. You know, you're eating eggs at breakfast, you're putting milk in stuff, you're putting cheese on your bread, you're eating cold cuts. So it's not just about the chicken soup, obviously. And in fact, what I'm going to suggest here is that you're putting up this argument really just to justify a self-destructive habit. That sounds kind of cruel, but you know, it's obviously not just about the chicken soup. And I know we have addictions from these high-fat foods, and I know it's hard for us to think outside of them, but I think we have to. Because these foods, the food that we choose to eat becomes us, and it's going to create health or it's going to take away health. And when it takes away health, it also takes away our abilities to be the people we want to be. You just can't be the same person if you're not healthy. And that's why I think we really have to put our health first. It has to be one of the most important things. And there's a lot of different components of health. You know, if you're really into doing something and it keeps you from sleeping that night, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But we have to think about what we're eating. And that's what the vegan movement is calling all of us to do. And I'm proud to be part of it. And hopefully this video will help people spread the message. Thanks.